up at J&L Green Farms with Jordan and Laura Green, and we were there 4 days, 2 days for the Farrow to finish with Jordan, and then 2 days of the marketing school with Laura, and we have learned a lot. J&L Green Farm with Jordan and Laura, and over there is where we have been having some classes, and yeah, we'll show you here in a little bit. And then right here is the farm store.
Grab it out of the freezer. Whenever they show up at the end of their day, they just go in the freezer and grab the boxes that are ready for them. You're welcome to go freeze yourself and eat as long as you wish. And it won't hold very many people, so you might have to take turns.
We'll wait.
Okay. I'm forgetting.
And here is Swover, say it, honey.
Swover Creek.
Swover Creek.
Creek over there, Swover Creek.
Swover Creek Farm Brewery, which is really nice. They have some like frisbee golf, they have some areas where you can just hang out, and they have this really nice outdoor area where you can come and sit and talk. And inside is where we have been having all of our meetings and our classes and our PowerPoints. So after a brief initial intro in the classroom, we started our farm tour with a closer look at some of the innovations Jordan uses in his pasture pork operation.
Again, that's all that's holding it on. Then you can just take the tank, pull it out. So it's got this groove cut in the bottom, and that's where the feed is falling into the cradle. So this is what it's going to look like in the woods. Now, you know, sows, this is the group that's retiring. They're 3.5 years old. We were just talking about them down there. From a management perspective, this is where we want the ground and the pigs to get to a point where the only thing that's keeping them here is a single strand of wire, and that's a process that begins when we wean and start fence training them, then beginning a process of reinforcing the psychology of that electric fence into the pigs, to by the point where, you know, those gilts have farrowed and they're in the woods. That's all we need to manage them with a low incidence of outbreaks. They've been in this paddock here for 6 days, 5 or 6 days. We move them every week. They're out here in 100-degree weather, they're out here in 10-degree below weather, and they're just fine. You need trees, or if they're in the field, you definitely got to be more concerned about heat, especially mature sows. They can handle wet, they can handle cold. You just want to be careful about wet, cold, and muddy. That's when there will be problems. As far as like a breeding sow, like this black one would be pretty good. So she's a little bit longer. Probably lacking a little bit on the front shoulder side, but that could be because she's had a lot of litters. You can see she has 7 active teats on each side, so a 14 count is pretty good. There's usually a lot of milk for a pig. You see how carefully she's laying down? Like that's an instinct from having piglets. You want them that nice slow melt into the ground, as opposed to one that just walks up and just tippers. This group here, I think there's like 19 sows in here. I think 17 of them farrowed. And we weaned like 150, 160 piglets. Just kind of what a typical group that's in production will look like. Usually the ones that are skinnier, like her, yeah, she probably had a really high amount of piglets, and they definitely did some nursing on her. And then you got some fatter ones that usually means they didn't do very much. And they just ate meat a lot. So this is a group that farrowed probably about 6 weeks ago.
Hi, little one.
So when we get a group that's coming up to what we call their farrowing window, we put the board in, pull out your phone right then, and mark 115 days in the future on the calendar. You know when you can start having piglets arrive. What we figured out is we don't have to contain the piglets. We contain the moms, and the piglets will stay within the vicinity. They might go 100 yards away from where the sows are. But they're going to largely stay in the area. A sow emits, I think it was, I always forget it, but I think it's like 650 BTUs of heat from her udder. And so if you've got a good maternal sow that's going to stay down with her piglets, they have a hot pad that they can snuggle up against in cold weather. So we found that piglets can handle cold weather. We farrowed without heat down to 10 below. They can handle being wet. So we've had farrowing in 80-degree weather with pouring rain, and they're largely fine. But what you got to be real careful is combining two things, cold and wet. So like our worst farrowing scenario is 33 degrees. Trees that we have yet to ever see sows try to chew on is hickory and black walnut. They have not impacted those trees at all. First, black walnut's probably one of the more valuable timbers that you can have on your farm. And hickory produces a lot of nuts, and sows love to eat hickory nuts. They love acorns. As you begin to develop a silvopasture, which we'll catch here on the end, we can use the pigs in a way to help us identify the trees that they're going to be prone to chewing on and the ones that we want to keep. But like these little ones right behind you here, those are hickory trees. I've never seen a pig kill a hickory tree because they have a huge taproot that goes down. They can take the abuse that pigs will give them. So like the one right behind Dave right here, that was a white oak tree that probably got killed by pigs. It's just part of putting pigs back into nature, so just be aware of something you're going to deal with. So if you start putting pigs on pasture, you're probably going to start seeing this. It loves disturbed soil, it loves nutrients. It's something that you can mitigate and work around with. If you can knock it down, the seed hasn't developed yet. But I think one plant can produce like 100,000 seeds or something stupid like that. I mean, yeah. We sent, I think, 3 tractor trailer loads of pulpwood just off of this little square that you see right here, and then some timber, and we burned brush piles that were the size of this house. But what we were wanting to save was the hickory trees and black walnut. That's kind of why we picked this spot, is it had the most black walnut. Structures called a dual purpose range coop or deuce coop. This is what we use for chickens during the summer. It's something that we just prototyped and built this spring, ran them for a season. And then we can use it for pigs when we're not using it for chickens. The carports, those are bought. And we wanted one that had a truss frame to it for extra stability. They're also wind rated for 150 miles an hour, so they don't need wind at all. Danger. All right, so this is how we wean the vast majority of our pigs right now. So we're setting up an enclosure with a hog panel. These are the stakes that we use for the cow fence on the intersection of the 2 panels, but the key is just to have a fresh spot that you're putting the piglets in, have some shade for them, have their food and water. And the reason that we're doing hog panel as opposed to the net is this is when they need to be trained to a physical barrier. So what I can show you with these guys is how we castrate bigger piglets. Entirely different from little ones to big ones. So with bigger ones, you can use a fancy scalpel knife if you want. We just use regular pocket knives, and we just have, or a box cutter type of knife. And we have a bucket of stuff that goes around. So these are our spare blades. You've got to have an iodine spray or some kind of disinfectant. You can use blue coat as well. Put a new blade on this thing. I know a good old boy who used to castrate retired boars, like 600-700 pounders. Whoa. They put them on the stock trailer. They put a strap around a back leg through the back door of the stock trailer, and then they pick the strap up with their backhoe. until its butt is basically hanging out the top of the door, and just his legs are dangling on the bottom. And they'll do the deed, put him back down, and let him lounge around for a couple weeks and recover. And that's a bit extreme for me. All right, so we got Weena Wagon here. Grab one of these unfortunate dudes. Come here, son. Okay, so the point or the goal here is to minimize his pain as quickly as possible. The Swedes did a study back in the day on how many times a piglet squeals just being held to how many times it squeals being castrated, and if it's done right, it's only a difference of 3 squeals. So the key is for you as the farmer or the castration guy to do it as quickly and efficiently as you can. He's good to go.
Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Come on over here. Go meet your new buddies. He's like, my voice just changed. All right, you see there's minimal bleeding.
And he's fine.
He's not flowing blood everywhere. Sometimes it will happen though, so don't be hard on yourself if it does. But within 2 minutes, he's largely forgotten what happened. So simple enough.
Yeah.
All right, where are my volunteers? Who wanted to do one?
So then Jordan walked a couple of brave volunteers through the process, and I really wanted to try, but I totally chickened out.
All right, so the same, swing in between, sit down on them.
And then here again, we went ahead and skipped the actual castration. So I know that there's a lot of people that don't really want to see that
All right,
part.
go join his buddies. Off you go, son.
Happy now.
Yeah. So then we went up to a pasture where Jordan had a large group of finisher pigs. First, he showed us the proper way to set out and take up the Premier 1 pig netting. And then we went on to watch as his field crew moved the pigs out of the old paddock and into a new paddock. While Jordan kind of narrated the whole thing and the process of what they were doing and why. We were able to see all of the infrastructure that we had heard about in the pasture setting, and we also got to see just how quickly and efficiently it can be. They definitely had the whole thing down to a science. So they came from over there. Now they're all over here in the new paddock.
Freedom right there.
So that pretty much sums up the highlights of our first 2 days in the field. Then the next 2 days we spent with Laura, where she went over the processing of the hogs as far as their cut audits, the logistics of the butchering and everything, direct marketing. She taught us all about how to grow our market and then went over everything about online marketing. So all the ins and outs. So what's your favorite animal on the farm? Pigs, that's my favorite animal. I love them.
So those just go in there so that they're always with the unit and transport.
We're gonna try to make one of these. So that's my hubby and he's learning how. He's learning what all's involved. Do you help Dad make some of this stuff?
Yes.
That's awesome. I bet you're a good helper.
I helped him move that.
You did? Wow. That's really awesome. I'm impressed.
So then those sides, if you want to grab one, you really just need 2 people to do it. Yep, kind of flush it up. Use that 2x4. Oh, let me get the other one.
We're getting a bread gilt next month, so we need something like this.
Yeah.
These wagons,
what's a bride gill?
That means she's gonna have babies.
No, what is that?
What is it? It's a pig. Yeah, a girl pig that's gonna have babies. It's pretty cool, huh?
So she can stay in the shade?
Yeah, so this way she can stay in the shade and her...
Yeah, so they'll rub on these,
Take
on
like
occasion, but you can
one
see
day
it's
if you start like it like somewhere.
Yeah, okay.
Cause
Yeah, because I never
that
see all the ones that
thing,
Uh-huh.
I think it takes
I didn't have
one day.
board across.
One day
Right. Sure.
for her to have the babies?
No, that. I don't know how
Oh, to make it.
Yeah, I'm guessing one day.
Got you.
If you know how to make it.
Yeah, for me it would be like 1 year.
If you didn't know.
Right.
Like, no, this is not it. I know it, but I'm trying to ask others this puzzle.
Uh-huh.
Some you
There's
don't want to go too
this
bananas
puzzle
with it.
I met.
Right.
So if any of us complete it,
Uh-huh.
we get a free ice cream.
No way.
Yeah, cause it's like super hard.
Really? Is it like an ice cream cone? Or like an ice cream bar? Like a sandwich or what?
Ice cream.
Something like this, maybe like
It's like an ice cream bar on a stick.
Okay, those are cool. What's your favorite ice cream?
You know, we're rolling.
That one right there, we're just clicking. Those. Okay.
That was a bee.
My favorite ice cream is
I'm-
Oreo.
I'm allergic to gluten and dairy, so.
Oh, you're allergic to dairy?
And gluten.
And gluten. Well, that stinks. I'm sorry. I'm sure Mommy comes up with all kinds of yummy things for you though, huh? Yeah.
Gluten-free pizza
Yeah?
and gluten-free cheese.
Wow. She's pretty cool.
A lot of times it takes.
That's a pretty cool mom to come up with that stuff.
Well, she actually buys it at the store.
That's good.
Yeah, we used to open them.
Nachos.
Yeah, man,
Uh-huh.
it looks awesome.
You know what nachos are?
Yeah, I know. I like nachos. That's pretty cool.
All the things you're selling at the store is gluten-free.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
You know that.
Yes.
First one
Did I
built
already say
entirely
pizza?
out of plywood.
Yes. Gluten-free pizza.
And,
What
it was
else?
just different in how it worked.
Ah.
And then the second one's
Honey, where's the bump bar?
we just had to figure out.
Oh, okay, and then it just goes back there? Okay. All right, gotcha.
If you really want to, you crawl back in.
That's all right.
Yeah, they're I have used these for hunting activities.
So, hope you all have enjoyed a little peek of some of the highlights. And if you're interested in raising pasture pork or just raising pork, then you should go and check them out if you're able. This is something I've wanted to do for quite a while now, and it's been on my to-do list, and we were finally able to. So, if you ever get the chance, you definitely should check it out. It's an incredible experience just to see everything in action. And then today we actually got to see a little bit of their chicken processing, so that was neat too. And yeah, I had a great time. So we're both tired, and he has to drive because I can't drive a standard. So unfortunately, but we're heading home. We've got about a 5-hour drive, and we will see you guys on the next video. So please remember to like and subscribe and share this with somebody. If you know somebody else that might be interested in seeing a little bit of what Jordan and Laura are doing on their farm, send them this link and share. All right, thanks guys.